All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the chance for us to be here to share what we can do as ZF and how we can support in the electrification drive that Egypt or Middle East has, and what we are doing together with other bus operators in the world. Yeah. So before I start, let me just give a quick overview or a brief history of ZF. Okay, we started about 110 years ago as a gear manufacturer for the Zeppelin airships. And throughout the years, we have evolved from a gear manufacturer and into component and system supplier for passenger car, heavy commercial vehicles, and also industrial and off-highway machineries. Okay, and after that, we are now driving into the active, to become an active player in the electrification and autonomous driving ecosystem. So, as you know, even for us as a group, we have a target by 2040 to reach the carbon neutrality footprint. So, it is really a drive in the ZF group to really be part of this, and we are happy that we have the chance now to also actively support the Egyptian drive towards electrification. Yeah. So in the next couple of slides, I will share with you on what are the products that we have for electrification and how we can support this initiative moving forward. Okay, as you can see, we have two types of products that we can support. One is the electric central drive, and one is the electric portal axles. Why we have two different systems is so that we can be flexible and to support the different aspects and applications that is applicable in the different segments and the different markets. So I will just quickly run through the difference between the two, and then we can look on how we can also go moving forward. So if you look at the standard operations for the buses, there are different types, three different applications. Number one is, of course, the solo buses. Number two is the solo buses, three axles. And number two is articulated buses, which is, of course, mainly used for the BRTs. And we can also see that both the applications of C-Tracks and X-Tracks are able to support all these three different applications. And you can see we are also quite flexible in terms of the gross vehicle weight of the buses, where we can support buses up from 19.5 tons up to 29 tons, right? So this is also something which is important because for different cities requires different applications and different types of buses. Okay, what are the common strengths of the two different applications? So basically, they are developed for the inner city applications. So as we know, for city buses is a very much a stop and go application. So the demands of the application and operations are very tough. So we have to ensure that these electric buses are able to support the different needs of the different operators. Okay, it's also of low weight, which is also very important, as what was also informed and discussed earlier on. Weight also contributes a very important part of the whole electrification system because of the battery load that is going to take up a lot of it. And the more weight that you have in the buses, the lesser you have for loading the passengers, which is the key objective of all having a city buses. So of course, this is something that we also pay a lot of attention to in order to be able to support and having an optimum solution. And of course, as ZF, we are not just about providing components, but we also want to provide systems, right? Because as we know, in the shift towards electrification is also a new industry for a lot of the bus operators. So we want to ensure that we are also able to support in a holistic approach and rather just providing a component so that it reduces the complexity of the operators and they can focus on just operating the buses. So as we are not only just about providing in the sales, but we are also looking at how we can support in the after sales as well. Okay, and of course the main difference between the two products that we have is one is an axle system with two integrated wheel motors, and the other is a central drive system with an electric motor and integrated planetary stage gearboxes. Okay, it also again, as I mentioned, why we have axle systems and why we have a central drive system is because again on the applications where if you are looking for a full low floor bus, then of course the X-Tracks will be the right product for you, because then you will have no step from the front to the rear of the bus, And of course, this will also be able for you to have easy boarding and deboarding of the customers. As for C-Tracks, is applicable to all types of buses. So just a quick look of how the product description and what we are supplying. So basically, we are able to supply the full transmissions and also the hydraulics high-speed electric motor. Okay, and of course, it comes with the inverters and of course the electric control unit. And this is what I mean by the system supply, where then we just have to work with integrator to bring in the BMS, the battery management system, and also the vehicle management system. Okay, there's 3 points I want to focus here. Is of course, number one is when we shift into electrification, there is also a need to shift into our after-sales competencies as well, because as you can see there, we are dealing with very high voltage. So all the mechanics and the engineers needs to be able to be trained to be able to handle this kind of high voltage, because it's a very safety sensitive equipment. So that's why what the knowledge that the normal mechanics and technicians have today needs to be upgraded to be able to handle such systems in the future. And as the weight I've mentioned, with the change from a conventional diesel bus to an electric bus, of course we will be removing the combustion engine, the traditional transmissions, and also depending on the system, whether it's X-Tracks or C-Tracks, we will be removing the axles as well. So of course, and what will be taking up most of this weight will be the battery system. So definitely for us, we want to ensure that we are able to again reduce as much weight, but at the same time, we do not compromise in the terms of the efficiency and the output. Okay, and one also the most important thing is all these products are already in volume production, so we are also able to support our customers with a very much cost competitive solution moving forward. And for the X-Tracks, it's also about the same. We are also providing system supply with the inverters and the ECUs as well. Okay, and again, the same, it's high voltage and it's already in volume production. So now we are also talking in the future, because as we also see, we are not only talking about high capacity buses, we also need to look at mini buses as well, because there's a lot of mini buses that is feeding the passengers from the outskirts into the main BRT lines. So we are also developing a C-Tracks Lite, where we are able to have manage low weight, full integrated system, and of course, the important thing is we are able to support a gross vehicle weight of about 7.5 tons, and the weight for this vehicle is only 150 kilograms. So this is something which is still very much in the prototype sector, where we are looking to have series production by second quarter of 2023. So before so basically a quick recap is we have the products to support the shift from conventional buses to electric buses. So if anybody has any questions in the future, you can just contact us and we can share more information with you. So the next couple of slides, I just want to share how we can quickly move our shift towards electrification. Yeah, as you know, currently a lot of the city buses they are having existing combustion buses. So what do they do with it? If they want to just quickly shift from combustion buses to electric buses, then of course it's going to be very cost intensive, especially in the capex. And what do they do with the old buses, right? So what we have come out as a transition phase is that we are able to provide an e-trophy solution, where we are able to support existing bus operators and transport providers to convert their existing combustion engine buses to an electric bus. Okay, so for us, it's basically to be to have a customer-centric approach, and a one-phase to the customer approach, where we are able to provide our customers with an end-to-end solution, where we can support together with a system integrator to provide the solution to our customers. Okay, and when is the best time to do it is because what we see is normally after 8 years or 500 to 700,000 kilometers, the buses need to go through a first lifetime overhaul, right? So this is normally the best time if you have your buses within this range. Instead of doing that overhaul for the engine, for the transmissions, is to look at how we want to convert this from a diesel to electric. Okay, And of course, what the benefit is, it provides sustainability, it saves material and energy. Of course, speed, we can do the conversion in only 6 weeks. Availability, because right now, as you know, if you want to quickly ramp up the availability of buses, a lot of the OEMs are still very much at the beginning phase. So of course, it's also quite expensive at the moment. So now is how to have the cost-effective solution. And of course, we can definitely do it with a lower capex, and also with the subsidies that that is involved, because it depends very much from countries to countries how is the subsidies. So if there's lesser subsidies, then of course the lower cost to convert to electric buses is much more important. Okay, and lastly, how are we going to do it? Okay, we are a tier 1 component and system supplier, SZF. So we will work with a system integrator. Okay, and we have some system integrators that we are already working with that can support to put the things together in terms of the battery systems, in terms of the cooling, air pressure, steering systems, and all that. And then, of course, the system integrator will then do the vehicle homologation, and then the legal sales responsibility and the customer contracting, right? So with that, we are able to partner and support our bus operators and bus fleets, okay, to deliver and sell the F components. At the moment, we are already talking to a lot of the bus fleets. We are currently supplying of our traditional product of transmission and axle to the bus fleet. So we are also now talking to them how they can also maximize this transition phase, and also be able to accelerate their program for electrification. So yeah, that was a very quick overview of what we can do. If there's any questions, feel free, and we'll be happy to share more information. Yeah, thank you very much.